All right, welcome to stand-up meeting for CS CS24 underscore Tico group, Lambda School cohort CS24. We'll be starting in about 4 minutes. So this is stand up for January 15th, 2020. We're going to be going over Project Euler problem number 9 today. Let's see here. Project Euler number 9, special Pythagorean triplet. We're just waiting for my code fam to get up in here. The code fam. Oh, Beta has a question. Bad. Back on. We need to jibble in. Jibble in. Here we go. Jibbled in. Okay. Need to check on something for my guy Beta. Tani. Tani in the house.
Hello.
Tani in the house. Hey, Tico, I might have to miss this.
Hey, are we sure that we don't want to go over today's assignment project?
What's that?
Could we maybe go over today's assignment instead of project?
Yeah, we can. We certainly can. If that's a point of concern, then yes. I need to check on something for all beta for the. Oh, that's why. Oh man, he added me. He invited me to collaborate on his GitHub like hours ago, but I just wasn't there to do it. There we go. My bad, Obeda. Should be good now. I just added myself as a viewer here for you. On GitHub. Luis, okay. Catherine and Tony, okay. This looks like it's gonna be us four right here. Catherine is at an appointment in the city, and then Luis is helping his wife with something right now. But so he's gonna hop in a little bit here.
What about Jade?
Oh, Jade, yeah, Jade is, yeah, we're still waiting on Jade. Good call. Sorry, I didn't count the numbers correctly here in my head. Dad brain kicking in. I need to get on that Johns Hopkins brain.
He got those post-pregnancy hormones going on, Tico.
Yeah, a little bit of post-pregnancy.
Postpartum.
Postpartum, yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Hey, in your 3 years of med school, did you guys ever learn about like treating infants and stuff like that yet, or no? At that point?
Depends on what about treating infants.
I don't know, like to what extent did you guys, like how, was it more broad than it was like in depth?
You mean like med school in general?
Yeah, just in general.
So they covered a broad range of topics, but they went more in depth on certain systems like cardiovascular. They would go more in depth. Respiratory, it's going to be more in depth. But things like endocrine, they did some, because that's going to be things like, like thyroid problems or diabetes. I almost said diabetes.
Diabetic? Yeah, for sure, diabetic.
Diabetes. But they didn't go as in depth with like the female body, like pregnancy and things like that. So some of it, I did an OB-GYN rotation though, so
cool.
did some learning there.
Cool. All right. So this is the crew for tonight. Catherine is at another obligation tonight, and then she's gonna be watching this recording later, so y'all can wave at her. She'll be watching you. And then Luis is helping his wife with something, so he should be in shortly. So let's just go around, talk about any breakthroughs that you had, and yeah, and then Tanya will. She was gonna do the Project Elo problem, but we may end up just going over today's issues with the blockchain stuff to help clarify some things. So, all right, let's start with Bryant.
Okay. So to be honest, not very far on the blockchain assignment yet. I was going over some stuff in more depth from the week.
And make sure you tell them too, your wife is out of town, so you have like all of both parents' responsibilities.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
So I'm a single father right now. A struggling single. I have me and my dog. And so yeah, I have, I'm just out there trying to make it in the world. But no, yeah, it really wasn't a time clash with family stuff today. It might be later this week, but I was just kind of, I don't know, taking care of some rust on some previous concepts. But I was talking to Tico earlier, and I've used Flask before, so I'm at least comfortable with the server usage. But yeah, not a whole lot of news on my front. Next, Obeda, because he was here, I think second. I don't know. Maybe it was Tani, and he looks like he's in front of some huge tower of concrete. Looks kind of cool. Yeah, I'm in front of a pillar outside. I had a breakthrough. Well, I guess I had a struggle in the beginning. I was really thrown off by the directions. I think these really confused me. So I had no clue if I met MVP or not. But shout out Lou, who pretty much gave me a nice little quick snippet of what the MVP was and summarized it. And I also got stuck with, I think some of the code they gave us wasn't clean. So for example, like the API stuff had a backslash, and then the actual endpoints also had backslashes. So like if you weren't careful, like me, you were hitting those errors where the endpoints weren't getting called because it was backslash. This is backslash, right? It's backslash to backslash. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe at the end, like when we start going over the problems or whatever, then maybe you can like kind of point out those errors and those typos in the repo for the code fam.
I popcorn Jade.
So, like Obeda was saying, the directions were rather confusing, and I was pair programming towards the end with Tani, and I think we were both having that issue, like trying to figure out what the README directions were actually asking for, and then sometimes getting kind of in a loop of like getting stuck on something and then trying to move on or move on to something else to get out of the like crazy understanding loop. So I'm not sure if I'm there yet. My biggest problem is trying to figure out how to, as I'm coding, with other challenges we've had, you're able to print and see how far you're getting and then see if you're able to debug using your print statements. But I'm not exactly sure how to do that to see if parts of my code are working or not. So no really major breakthroughs as of yet. Still trying to figure things out. Go ahead, Tani.
Yeah, pretty much the same as Jade. Fairly stuck, going back and forth on what I think the meaning of the README is. So I think Jade and I would take turns convincing each other, and then we would overthink it and go back the other way, and we still don't know the answer. So that's been happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just went. You muted for a few seconds, like right as you're talking. I thought you actually turned off your microphone. Like you're muted right now. Are you talking right now?
Oh, I did pause.
Can't hear you. Right. Okay. Wait. Can you guys hear?
Well, I'm not speaking. No?
I can hear you now. Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't speaking. Okay, so you can hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
All right. Yeah, so, yeah, that was it. I was just saying I didn't really have any breakthroughs.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's, since we're not gonna do Project Euler, let's bust out the issues. Who wants to start? And we could just look at it together. Or actually, Obeda, do you want to drop those hints first for the typos that you saw? You said.
Yeah.
Or maybe like the clarification on the directions you said.
Yeah, I can share my screen and show you exactly what Luke sent me via message. Right. Although I don't think he's gonna care. But he said. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I find that message. And I'll just read it out loud. So. Okay, so if you can successfully mine and post a new block to the server,
and update a counter with your coin, you've met MVP. So I guess so if you want, I can show what it looks like in the actual terminal, if that helps, like give an idea of what it's supposed to look like. Up to y'all, whatever you'll want it. Okay. So the way it's supposed to work is you're supposed to have two things running. So this is running for the backend. That would be your blockchain.py that's inside your client. So you need to run that, and then you need to run your miner.py. But the way they tell you to run it here is to run it like this, which is, you can do that, but it didn't work for me. So I ran it like this. So when I run mine, it looks like this. Wrong one. It looks like this. It goes Python miner.py and then localhost. And then this is what I was talking about, is that they give you a backslash right here. And Tico, do you want me to like show? Is that fine? Is everyone okay with me showing you like what I was talking about for the backslashes?
Sure, yeah.
So this is the backslash. And then what they were doing too was they were adding backslashes when they were adding the node. It would be, but the problem is this is the node.
My bad. Forward slash will be it.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
forward slash, there you go. So they're pretty much telling you to add this node that ends with this forward slash, and then adding it to another forward slash. So I was hitting, so you can print right here. So when it's running, it actually shows you, so I think it was JD was talking about like the printing. So it was hard for me to see in blockchain, but when I printed here, I could see where I hit the blocks. So it would run through this, and then I kept hitting an error here, and then I realized it was a backslash, and then I kept hitting an error here. So this is the code they gave us. So I kept hitting an error here, and I wasn't sure why, but when I would do it in Postman, it would work. And then that's when I realized that they were doing the same thing. They had a backslash like this.
So basically, we have two forward slashes in a row, and we have to get rid of one.
Yeah, unless you run this like this, that's also fixed. But like, I realized that after the fact. So if pretty much however you run this, if you run this like this, then you're good to go. If you run it like this, then you're probably gonna hit an error.
And dumb question, but does it matter which one we take the forward slash from? It shouldn't affect anything, right?
It shouldn't here, but if you take it from here, then you just leave them in the file here. And then if you don't, yeah.
Let's see. If you take it from the API one, then you don't have to remove it everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I could. Sure. Okay.
Because what you're telling is that it's the node. Yeah. So when you run it, I have mine printing shows this is before our request, after, and then before the data request, and this is what the data is, and then after the data request, and this is when it actually mines the data. And so this is what it's asking us to do, is to mine the data and then show the count of how many coins have been mined, and it's supposed to keep going. And the way to check to see if it's working or not. So right now we got one coin. It says right here, we have one Lambda coin. And then it ran again, and it's gonna keep running until we stop it. And so this is what pretty much it's asking us to do. And a good way to check to see if it's been mined or not is just to go to the endpoint itself. And then you'll see the coin. So now it's just getting mined, and you can see it. Every time it tells you, you hit refresh and it'll show. Well, it's taken quite some time since it's 6. But yeah. I don't know if that helped clear up anything. I don't know if anyone has questions. I can stop sharing. Whatever you want.
That was good. I think that will help them run into less errors. Let's go over maybe Tani. Do you want to share, Tani or Jade? Do you guys want to like share the README, and then like we can just kind of get a high level overview of what we should be doing like task wise, like because you said that you guys weren't really sure of the directions.
Yeah, the directions were kind of confusing.
Okay, so let's clarify that together.
All right, don't make fun of me.
Why would we make fun of you?
What I have written, because it's probably not functional. All right, so we removed the proof of work function from the blockchain file, which we copied over from the other blockchain file that we wrote earlier. We updated valid proof. Don't get motion sick. where is it? All right, so so we updated it to check for the first 6.
6
So I did
zeros.
that. Then we want to add an endpoint. Close your eyes, guys. I'll tell you when we're there. Okay, here. So I just called mine get last block because I wasn't sure if it would conflict with the method above that was called. Wait, there wasn't a method. I thought there was something called get last block above. But I think I can get rid of this actually.
There's a function called last_block. You're right.
There is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so I renamed it to that.
Okay.
But obviously kept that endpoint. So this is where Jade and I were struggling. It was the mine endpoint. We were all over the place, back and forth. And then we threw in some minor code as well, because we would get stuck on this file, go to that one, struggle a little, and then, you know. So this is what what we have at this point. There's a lot, we're having some confusion. So we started with well, first off, it should take a post. So we put in post. And then they wanted us to use this line to pull the data out of the post. So we did that. We were then defining ID and proof because we wanted, this is what I'm not sure, but we wanted to define it so that we could then check whether or not they are present in data. I don't know.
If you scroll to the server part, right? If you scroll down to the client mining, what is it? I'm sorry, in the read. So I was having the same issue too, and this is kind of clarified from what you're saying. Right?
It has like overlap, right? Like
yeah. So that's why it gets a little confusing. But so, for example, you're saying for the /mine, you want to check. You're saying like you both wanted to check to see if this proof is there, right? Is that what you just?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It says receive and validate or reject a new proof sent by a client. So is that just poorly worded? Or like, do we make it harder on ourselves?
So I had the same issue. So I mean, if you go to client mining, so it says right there, it's essentially like in the miner.py, you have the same exact functions, right?
Yeah.
So you could potentially. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying we were a little confused about that. What should be where?
So what would make this super clean? Like if you were you're posting, right? So what are we posting? What's being sent to the mine? What do we want ideally?
Well, you want to post your proof and ID. Well, the user's proof and ID.
And so where would we want to validate then the proof?
Wouldn't it be easier on the client side since that's where we are doing the proof of work anyways?
Okay, that makes so much, we're so confused. We were like all over the place.
That's how I did it. That's how it made sense to me, but I don't know necessarily if it's right. So I mean, Tico.
But it worked, right? It's working.
So my understanding is like from the README, I mean, it's been a long time since I've done this. But in the README, they talk about like at the top. So do you guys know what miners do? Jade knows somebody that was a miner, actually, Bitcoin miner, believe it or not.
Know someone in passing. Doesn't know him very well.
No,
never met him, never seen him.
Ever.
Yeah.
You know, he only just lives and we're roommates. Anyways,
I didn't want to
So
reveal who it was just in case.
no, it's my husband. So he used to mine Bitcoin, and please correct me if I'm wrong because we just talked about it.
You guys have a
I would-
Lamborghini?
Oh, totally, Lamborghini. Yeah,
You mean Tesla? Because that's what I want.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want a Lambo, to be honest. Anyways, getting on topic. So, if I remember correctly, or if I say this correctly, so the mining is actually, so you have a group or a community that is actually doing all the mining to discover the hashes and everything. And it's the graphics card actually is doing all the computation to actually hash and figure these and get these Bitcoins. And it's not all at once. Sometimes you can get like half a Bitcoin or parts of a Bitcoin as it's figuring it out, right?
Yeah. So like the idea is, so the reason why they call it mining is it's taken from the old world definition of mining. Do you remember when most people used to mine for gold? The idea is like when you mine for gold, there's like a limited amount of gold in the world. That's the idea. And you have to like work for the gold. Like it just doesn't come out of the ground. Like you actually have to physically work for it. So that's where the proof of work comes in. And because the proof of work shows that you've done the work, the work is the amount of computation done by those graphics cards to figure out the solution or the hash to this like super hard algorithm that's like just randomly generated somehow. I don't even know how, but it takes basically the power of like multiple miners. So like I could have like all of us be like part of a mining team. Like Bryant would be sending his computing power on my computer, Obeda's, Jade's, and then Tani's. Like we're all combining our computing power together to solve like this super hard problem. So it's just guessing and looking for like this, I guess the 6 leading zeros. But then it once it finds that, like you get rewarded with part of the Bitcoin that's created once this is added to the blockchain, I guess. So it like as miners, we are the ones verifying the transactions. It's like it might be really confusing the way I just explained it. Sorry.
No, it wasn't. Well, at least not to me. It made sense.
Yeah. So like every 10 minutes, I believe, a new transaction is like batched together in a collection, and then like a bunch of miners worked on that together to solve the really hard algorithm problem. And then once they do that, once they solve it, then it can be appended to the blockchain. And then like while that's happening, there's another one that's already started. So what's happening in the README is they're saying that the server is getting credit for, they're getting the credit, which means they're getting the, maybe they're getting the coin. The server is getting the coin right now, I think. And so like you are wasting your electricity in solving a problem for the server. What they want you to do is they want you to switch it so that the client, that's us, the ones doing the mining, we're going to get the credit for using our electricity to solve the problem, just to find the answer or the solution to the algorithm. And so that's why like it says the server is like recording 0 as the sender. We need to fix this to appropriately give credit where credit is due. They also said that you need to increase the difficulty of the work. Did you do that, Obeda?
You mean turn it to 6?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Show me where it's at.
That line and also in this line.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, all that was if you go to miner.py, I just pretty much the same exact code from valid.proof on the top. Yeah, pretty much that's exactly what I did. Yep. And then I used the same exact code that we removed right on top of it. Yeah, I used the same exact code that they already gave us. But there's a caveat here. Do you see the stuff that is underlined? Yeah. Why would that be underlying it?
Blockchain's not defined here.
And
So I
does
was
it need to
wondering
be?
if you like import it.
You can import the whole class and then it'll be defined.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
what I
But
was wondering.
do you need to?
No?
Do you need to import the class?
Well, it did ask you to import, what was it, last block or something? Or there's
Okay.
something you're supposed to import on the README.
Oh, I missed that.
Unless I misunderstood what it was asking for. I might have misunderstood what it was asking for.
Yeah, I didn't import, and I don't think you necessarily need to import. But I mean, I could be again. So I'm getting it to work, but I don't know if it's necessarily right. But so like okay, so this is saying blockchain.valid proof, right? But why do we have blockchain.valid underscore proof? What was the point of doing it like that?
We were trying to get access to valid proof, but if we have valid proof here, then we can. That's what I was wondering. So then it would just be self.
Well, it's not a
Right.
class, right?
No, it's not a class, so you wouldn't be
No, it's
using
not.
self, but you could just call valid proof.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's just valid proof.
Mhm.
That seems too easy, guys.
Look at you. You trying to sabotage your own self, Tony. Like, wait, this is too easy. I'm gonna make it harder on myself here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw what Jade and I did in the other file. So
But then we still have proof.
Well, because you missed out. I think you forgot to copy all the code.
oh, did I?
Yeah. There's just one part of the code that it looks like you might have dropped.
Don't get sick.
I mean,
Do this
you can.
again.
Well, you don't need to do it again if you. Yeah, that works too.
Oh, I didn't put proof in. Whoops. I forgot that little line there. I see. Okay. Hang on, my spacing's bothering me. There we go.
It's gonna bother Python too.
Ah, this too. Okay. Why is this happening to me?
I think you need to backspace while.
Or actually isn't on the same line as
Oh, it is,
proof
yeah.
and blockstream.
Ah, you're right. Okay. I got it. We're there. I'm not going crazy. So then in this README, in theory, couldn't we could just take out valid proof as well then, right? Do we use valid proof? Wait, maybe we use valid proof.
The way we
Good
set
way-
up. Go ahead, Obeda.
I was just gonna say a good way to check is you can always do. I don't know if you're using a Mac or not, but Command F, and then you can just search the entire file for whatever you're looking for.
Yeah, you're right. That's the more efficient way to do it.
We're using valid proof on your 112.
But we don't need that anymore though, right? Because we don't need to check. We thought we don't have to check in this file.
In which
Okay.
one? In the blockchain.py?
Sorry, in our server file. Yeah. Like in theory, so then what, we just need a response? Like I could get rid of all of this, essentially?
But we still need to check in this file
Yeah.
if new proof and ID is still in the data. So we still need that part.
Okay. So if you go back to the minor code, if you're walking through it right now, what's going on, right? So now you have this proof of work, and then you have this valid underscore proof. And so if you scroll down, keep scrolling down. What's going on here? Like the whole code from the top to the bottom.
Basically, we're running. We're like trying to mine. So we're like we keep running until we find the correct hash string.
Yeah, but so like what's going on? I guess better like what's going on each line if you were to walk through this. or each section? The reason I'm just asking is because I think once you figure out this part out, it's going to be easier for you to figure out the slash mine. At least for me, it helped me figure out the slash
Okay.
mine a lot easier. Yeah, I don't know if it can help you all out, but
So I'm not sure what this is checking. So if length of the system .rb is greater than 1, set node to equal.
So is this an if else for which server we're on? Lines 48 and 50.
Oh, what is the server address? Okay, so that's what it's checking, essentially. I see. So this is now loading the ID. Nailed that one. And this is our while loop here. Basically, it keeps running the request until it mines something.
so what's that request? What's that first one? Sorry, Tico, go ahead.
Oh, no, good. I didn't understand.
So this is grab. Oh wait, is this? Sorry, one second.
Get request.
Oh, that's request docket. Jeez, never mind.
It's our get request for the last block using the server that we're running. Well, there's a last block. We're using this request. I believe that's part of it.
So then is that what's verifying that only, like there's only a valid, only one person can mine it essentially? But you can't keep mining it, it's only the first person? Is that what that check does? You're muted.
Sorry. So if you walk down the code, right? So now you've pulled it. So what happens after when you do try? What is that saying?
Wait, but is that what this does?
So this is pulling in the last block of.
Oh, we're just grabbing the.
Of our blockchain.
Exactly. Yeah. And so.
Okay.
So then what does the try do?
The try, it's taking that data and putting it in JSON format.
It's trying, right? So if the data exists, it should then format into like a JSON object.
Mm-hmm.
And then you keep going down. So then what's this first to do? What is that telling you to do now?
So we want to grab that data and search for the new proof.
And that would be the last block data, because that's what we're grabbing from the data dot or equals r.json.
Right.
Okay. So the new proof would equal, we could use the proof of work function on the data, and then we'd have to make sure we put last block on the end of that.
Sounds right.
Okay.
So I really feel like it was that server file that was just like messing with our heads, man. So can we, like, before we leave, can we at least sort it out? So we don't need.
But we need some of this, don't we? Like, because it's still asking to check for those two items.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, sorry. So to get to this, right? If you go, sorry, I'm gonna send you back to the miner.py. Again, this just helps, like, it helps understand it. So right now you said, right, the new proof, you've got it, you understand what you're sending. So now you have this post.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, sorry. So you all figured out, like, right now the new proof, you use the function, you use data, you put that in there, and then concept. What pretty much what Jade said. But you don't need .last block because you're pulling in that data. And so now you put it into new proof, and then right under it says when found post is to the server. And so now you're posting this proof and this ID, right? and now you're sending this to slash mine. So now you're getting this object, which we all know that we're sending. So now that you know this new proof is coming in, now you almost are on the blockchain.py, but you still have the original one.
Sorry, what did you say?
Do you still have the original blockchain.py? So if you were to look at that,
One from the guided project today.
yeah.
It's
Sorry,
right. It's this file on the right.
Yeah. So if you go all the way down and look at their, yeah. So I guess the hint would be a combination of what you all were doing along with this, because you still need some of this.
Wait, are you talking about the mine?
Yeah. So you still need, because right, if you go back to your blockchain.py that you have right now, you don't want to delete everything, because how are you then connecting the blockchains together, right? So in theory, what you're doing in the beginning and in the top is right, but then if you were to remove everything else, right? So like on the right, if you were to walk through, what does that do? The blockchain.py on the right, if you were to walk through that mine function, what does that do for us? Yeah.
I'm sorry, what does what do?
What does that function do? Like if we were to walk through that
this whole
function.
thing?
Yeah.
So we're just trying to get the next proof in this line. And then we're adding the previous hash in, so that when we grab the new, or so when we create the new block, when we grab the new block, it adds in the previous hash.
So if you were to take out where block equals, what would that do? It still does that, right? Like what does this blockchain and dot u_block do?
Did you say this line?
138.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put my headphones in. So.
No, you're good. Sorry, I have background
No,
noise,
it's
so
okay.
I apologize.
No, it's okay.
Is this
I
better?
don't need to repeat yourself all the time.
Is this better?
A little bit.
You sound like the Verizon guy, or he used to be the Verizon guy.
Okay. Sorry, headphones are way better than my laptop audio.
Try to close it like this.
If you could close it just a little more, that would be helpful.
All the way.
Perfect. So, I can hear you better with headphones. I'm sorry. So what did you say?
So the reason what you and Jada were doing was right. But I just instead of deleting everything, so a lot of stuff you had was right. Just you shouldn't have. There's some stuff you should delete and some stuff you shouldn't. And so the way to determine that would be, I guess I don't want to. So like going through this function will allow you to understand what you need to keep and what not, right? Like what's important in this function that you feel like you both need to have in the new one that you're creating.
So if you're asking us on the right here for the blockchain that we did this morning, the only thing we need, I believe, is 137, 138, because in the minor PY, we're taking care of 135.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have 137 and 138. We put it on
Right
for,
here.
yeah, there you go.
Nice. Beta, good questions.
Yeah, just for the sake, I guess you should even more. Do you actually need, for like, if you were to walk through 138, what is that doing? Do you need block equals? I guess my question is being very direct.
I mean, I thought you did, because you're adding the previous hash in to the block, aren't you?
Well,
or no, that you did that here actually.
So if you take out block equals, what happens?
I don't. Oh, an endless loop. Is that what you were signaling?
Yeah, I mean, not say endless, but yeah. So pretty much, like, cause like, right, blockchain. Like, let's look at the new. What does the u_block function do?
The new block function?
Yeah.
That creates the new block of the chain. that
And
we
ties
need
it back. Sorry, guys.
back. Yeah, and then ties it back. It needs to grab the previous hash to attach it so that it's connected. And once we start building after that, it keeps adding that previous hash so that they're connected and you can't pull it or yank it out of the chain at all.
Yep, and the proof. And so, what is that block equals doing? What was the point of you in doing it on the right? Yeah, exactly. You're right. It was just for the JSON. It was just for the sake of doing like block equals this, and then we're returning it to the JSON. Yeah.
And that way, when we do the GET request, we can actually see
Yeah.
it added.
Yeah. But in this case, do you want to do the same
We
thing on
don't
the left?
need it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So we don't need this line actually.
Well,
All right.
so do you need the line or do you not need parts of the line?
Oh, we
this
don't
is-
need the block equals.
Exactly. Sorry, I went on a tangent for no reason. I guess I just slowed down, but because I don't know if that would have. I don't know if it would have. I guess it would have still ran. Sorry.
All right, man. That's a good
Hard to-
explanation, though. I mean, it's
Yeah.
good parallel between the two.
So now what's
So-
left for this function?
So I was a little uncertain. Oops, not that. Because it says, sorry, things are happening. Do you want to save the changes? Cancel. So a valid proof should fail for all senders except the first. Is that taken care of in valid proof? Sorry for the motion sickness. Okay, so we don't even have to worry about that. We're just returning a message.
Yeah. So for that last line, I think I really don't know. So the message of success or failure, I think it should be getting returned in the mine, so you can build it out like that. But the valid proof should fail for all senders except the first. I think that's just happening in the minor section when you're running.
Yeah. So I'm
So,
wondering, I feel like it'd be nice to just delete some of the unnecessary.
Yeah.
Because this, we don't really need them in here, right? I'll leave it alone. Okay.
Yeah. So your message should come from your blockchain.py, right?
Oh, so it is coming from this server.
That's what I have in here.
That would be like it successfully
Down
forged a new
here?
block, or so I think the message of success or failure has to deal with our message on 121. That's your proof of success,
Oh, yeah.
and then the 400 is our proof of there's an error or it was unsuccessful.
Right. Okay, so my other question then, so I mean, like, it's okay, like this line's okay then, right? And then I did this for my error. But we
Go
were
back, guys.
wondering about the response, because Tico had mentioned to Jade that you need everything in here but timestamp in your response.
So okay. So when we're doing the .u_blog, what is that doing again? What does that handle? I don't know why I'm doing this with my hand. What does that function do, right? So similar to what Jade said, it takes in the previous hash and it takes in the proof. But what does the function also do?
You're talking about the new block function itself?
Yeah, yeah.
Besides, it appends the block to the chain. There is also, there's a reset current list of transactions.
So if you were to look at what you have right now in your response compared to the block in there, is there what are the things that you need to? Is there anything that you need to put in that response per se? Like what is that? What's the point of that response?
I figured the response was to show not only that I was successful, but exactly the proof of it, the previous hash that it's connected to, the index. But I am only going off of what, and the transactions, but I'm only going off of what Tico had given me before.
So mine's a little different, but in that case, what's a way of showing all of that without needing to do everything else that you're doing? So like you have the message, which is right? But for example, I
It
guess
would be just the block.
yeah. So
That's
me
what,
making
so
me
we were
take it off.
confused. Well, because we were confused. Oh, go ahead.
I had that before, but Tico had said you actually need these index transactions, proof, and previous hash. But I wasn't sure. He said you didn't need a timestamp, but I had asked him during my one-on-one, so I don't know if he had a chance to really look at it and then compare, give an answer. But basically, we're still giving the same info, so you should just need the block, right?
Yeah, ideally, because that should be because the new block. If you look at the function on the right, index takes care of itself,
Yeah.
and the timestamp updates by itself. And
Mm-hmm.
so what you're saying is in the new block, you're passing in the new proof and the previous hash. And so if you're making block equal this blockchain dot new block, it should have everything that you're pretty much putting in index, timestamp, transaction, proof.
But we do need to return all of this?
That's
what I was
don't
confused on, because it didn't say to in the README. Like, because initially I had just done like a response, more like this.
That's what mine looks like.
Yeah, so I did that initially. Tico, can you weigh in? Do we need to have all of this for our response, or can we just like return a response, like a message rather?
So they are returning that whole response in the solution.
Why?
Whether, because I mean those are all the same. I guess it's just showing you like what was added, right?
We
It's just
if we're posting this though, we're posting this to the server, right? Like this is getting posted to the server. So
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
so then we would just need, instead of putting all of this, just put like new block and block. And that way we make sure it's formatted and going into the server. So we can't just do the response. We need to actually post it so that it's in our server. Does that make sense, Tommy? So we don't need like 120.
Sorry, my dog's been barking. I couldn't hear you.
No problem. So we could probably, instead of doing like the index, so 122 to 126, we could probably just do like new block and then just have a key and then a value and just call block.
Yeah, weird. I guess I should update mine. Mine doesn't have that, which means that where you had block equals, that was right.
Yeah,
there's
so
no point in making you delete it.
So 119, Tony, when you're done, put back block equals. And then on 122, where you have new block, that'll just end up being block. Though that's fine. The in the quotes, yeah, it's the value. There you go.
So if we run it, we should be able to see what comes back, right?
Yes.
So I have to hop off. Sorry. Good luck, everyone. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks for your help, man.
No problem.
Thank you.
I'll see you all tomorrow.
Yep.
See you, man.
Bye. Thanks for all the help. My demon dog, man.
So that clarified stuff.
Good.
Just need to test to see if it works.
Well, I have this error here.
It's because you're not using last proof anywhere. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think we got rid of. Oh, wait.
Oh wait, you have an open parentheses.
No, it keeps moving this down a line
But unless
every time I save.
Oh, okay.
It like kicks it up down a line.
That's weird.
Yeah, I know this. I don't know why. I think it's the linter.
What's it say when you
Do
hover
we
over
need
it?
this actually? Do we need that one?
Are you guys using it anywhere?
We named ours differently,
Chain.
so.
Oh, I think I changed my names so many times. Wait, no.
Last block.
You can Command F and see if there's any other instances of last proof.
We're not. I'm just not sure if I misnamed
Oh.
something though.
I don't think we used it because.
Do we need this? Actually,
we were using.
We weren't sure if we needed it or not.
Oh, 108 was in the argument for. Where's your if statement? Block on 112.
Yeah, but we weren't sure if we needed this part or not, right?
Because valid proof takes in 2 arguments. We're thinking about using it in there, but we weren't sure if that was right, if it needed to go in there or not.
But does it need to be? Do we need to call this JSON.dumps?
I do not. That's I'm not sure.
So I will say yes. You will need JSON.dumps, and you'll need last block string. But if you look at the JSON.dumps function or method, how many parameters does that take?
The dumps method?
Mm-hmm.
It takes 2. It takes a first argument and then like a sort key, which equals true. At least that's how we used it before, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we encoded it as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna fill out the attendance.
So then this should be new proof here.
I actually only put proof
here.
Oh.
I
think it's for you. Mine's just defined differently. So yeah, you put. You know what? I'll be honest. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you guys looking at?
We're looking for the second argument on 112. Okay. Because that takes into arguments the block string and proof. So we're trying to decide if it's going to consume as the argument her 107 new proof.
Let me see. The naming convention is different in the solution, but yeah, you'll need a second argument passed in there for blockchain.valid proof. That on line 112, right?
Yeah, 112. She was thinking that it's going to be taking the variable from 107.
From 107.
We both were actually. We both were thinking that. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, we passed in these 2 guys.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's.
And then what is okay, so you're getting the data and then you're just getting the proof from the data. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, they do it a different way in the solution. Yeah, but yeah, essentially, yes, that is correct.
But then will we pass in, we would
Yep.
pass in these?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's called something different in our solution, but yeah.
But then we have this issue, like, do I
I actually
need
do
that
not
line or can I just,
I don't have it.
okay, I think
But-
I have like a repeat line. I think this is supposed to be elsewhere. That looks like I have it twice. But I have different names for it. Because, that makes sense.
I would check your indentation for 114 through 120. I don't know. I'm just
It's true. Response is there. Return your LF needs to be.
Do we need an else statement here, actually? So if
yeah. You will need an else statement there.
valid proof is true,
So I guess like what you want to think about is what are you guys checking for on line 110, and then just do the
so we're checking, oh,
Opposite.
9, 10. We're checking if these two newly defined variables, if they exist in the data.
which would make them what? Like what's
Valid.
yes. So like the first your
what we check.
conditional your statement, yeah, it's checking to see if the proof is valid. So then the contrast or the I guess the opposite of that for your else.
Because you
would
could
be-
have, oh, so I guess maybe it's redundant. I don't think I need this. If I was thinking like if they pass in data and an ID, and it, like, so say they do pass in data and they pass in an ID, does that data and does that ID match? Do they match like what we have? So I think I started confusing myself.
Wait, Jay, did you have something like that too? Where you had like
Ye-
if
Yes, I had a valid proof because and this is based off the README. I thought we'd
Uh-huh.
have to do a valid proof check as well, at least from what the README was saying. So we have something similar where we're doing another valid proof check.
Gotcha.
Mine just says it doesn't have the is true part, but it should be similar, but it's doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Do we not need to check it then?
No, you do
Or
need to
do
check
we?
it.
We do need
Okay.
to check it.
So
yeah.
then, but we don't need this.
I'm talking about
if. We
lines
could-
110. I'm talking about lines 110 and I guess just 110.
110 is basically seeing if the ID and the proof is being posted, if it's there.
Okay, gotcha.
But I guess what we're just checking to see if it's
That's good though. No, that's good. That's good practice.
if it exists.
Because it
Wait,
makes
but do
sure
we-
that because you'll need both of those, right? You'll need you need the ID and you need the new proof in order to move forward, right?
Yeah. So
Mhm.
I would keep both.
Yeah.
Both ifs, I mean.
Yes.
Okay.
I would keep both. Because that's the only
But
way
what-
we're going to be able to pass in the new proof and then make sure if everything checks out, then make sure we connect it to the chain. Right?
Okay. So so here's the. So if valid proof is not true, so if it's false, it's weird that we're running valid proof in here when we're going to run it again in the front, but I'm just going to check out the method again. So if it's false, can I just return? Or
Where?
can I do pass? Because I need something here. Can I just put pass?
Yeah, you can just put pass there if you need, but no, you should put a message or an error there though. right? Because I mean, so basically what's happening is
We're creating a new block, right?
well, no,
Or posting it to the server.
if the proof is valid, then you'll be creating a new block,
Mhm.
right? But if it's not valid, so okay, so here's the best way to think about it. So when you're mining, like when I'm mining, I'm like, I got my axe, my pickaxe or whatever it's called, and I'm just mining, right? And technically I'm searching, right? I'm like searching for that gold, and I'm gonna keep going until I keep going. Every time I take a swing with my axe, right? You can think of that as like a guess, right? And we talked about like mining here and with Bitcoin, with blockchain. When you mine something, you're basically making a bunch of guesses at this like really hard problem. If your proof is valid, that means you found the right answer.
Yeah.
So basically, this is what you would return to the client when it submits an incorrect or invalid proof. Yeah. There you go. So think of like, yeah, think of like your proof is like an answer that you're guessing to a really hard problem. If it's valid, it's the right one, then you can go ahead and add the block. That video that I sent in the group is really, really good at explaining it. That was the one that I watched when I was going through blockchain.
We'll have
You
to
can watch it. You can watch it at like 1.5 speed. It's called Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency Mining Explained. Really, really good at giving you like an illustration of what's happening. So.
Cool.
Oh, it's running now, at least.
There you go.
That's an improvement on where I was.
And just make sure you're going to be running two files, right? You're going to be running
two server, the server and the
the miners. So the client we just need to put it on a different server.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I put this one on like 555, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
So then we just have the rest of this to do.
Well, actually,
that's it.
For the MVP for today was just to get the client running, right? Oh yeah, that's where you were.
That's all of this. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the to do on the bottom where you have
the last
to.
two.
Yeah. So I got the first one. I think it's working. I haven't checked it yet. And then you have to, if the server responds with a message like new block forged or whatever your message is on yours, Tani, for the blockchain, then you need to add a coin. So kind of right under the, right above.
Or do you want to share maybe?
Sure.
And talk through it?
Yeah, sure.
I will make one of y'all the host.
Okay.
And actually, you know what? I'm just gonna stay on because I need to finish this. Whatchamacallit anyways, the attendance, and I got to do this other stand-up form. So I'll just mute myself so you guys can keep going.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So we need to add coins and show that we're adding those coins. So I declared coins up here, and then in the if statement, I did data.message to grab the message that we have here. So you can call it message, but just make sure it's whatever you put for your message and your response on blockchain. And then you just you iterate through the coins, or you, every time a new one's created, because this is going to keep running until it's interrupted, it's going to add another coin. And it's going to show that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I just might need a break.
Yeah, I need to get going myself. I have some dinner to fix. But, and then just this last thing. This is what we were talking about earlier with OBeta. I haven't checked if this works, but this is where we do the new proof and use the proof of work function. And grabbing the data, we need to grab that last block out of the data, because this is what our request is doing. It's doing a GET request, going to our URL or our node URL, which is up here, and grabbing the last block out of there, which is basically using this last block function that we made.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just fading.
Yeah.
Fading
I
fast.
Totally
Need that sugar.
understand.
Yeah, watch really though, watch that video that I posted in the channel. I think
Okay.
it will make things a whole lot more clear.
Clear. Okay, cool.
Thank you, guys.
All
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Good work. See
Until
ya.
tomorrow.
Till tomorrow.